And then you have the opportunity at this stage, and that's usually in the first few days, where your broker will organise a bank valuation and we'll get a building and pest. So Ash, do you want to talk us through, I guess, the bank valuation part of this? Yeah.
So the bank valuation can be different depending on each property and depending on deposits for people. So obviously once you've got a pre-approval, we get the contract of sale from yourself and the solicitor or conveyancer, and we submit the property for valuation and we send the contract to the bank to get the formal process moving. And what we actually do is then review the figures and make sure that we might need to reduce the loan by $5,000, or we might need to increase it by 5 or something along those lines. But generally we order the valuation. Now there is things called desktop valuations, which means that it's very quick, it's done instantly, and there's no actual full inspection on the property. Then there is other valuations that are like a curve drive-by valuation, which means the valuer just drives by. Now the valuer
checks that the property actually is there and exists.
Yes. And for those who don't know what a valuer is, they are a third party that the bank employs to make sure the property is worth what you are purchasing it for. So they verify that it is actually worth the $700,000 that you're paying for that property. And then they do a they do a street valuation, which is a little bit of a bigger report. And then there's a thing called a short form valuation, which is generally for some lenders that may see the property having some heritage listing or something on there, and they might want a full report on it. And then if you go to a rural property, that normally gets a long form valuation. Now the short form and the long form valuation have to be booked in to inspect the property. So these things can take like 3 to 4 days depending on the valuer and depending on their backlog and where they come from. So this is normally where I will always indicate to my agent and the client the valuation has been booked for Thursday. Yeah. So then the vendor knows, because the agent knows that it's Thursday, and then we can say to the agent, actually, the valuer has 48 hours to get the report back to us. So we might not get it until Friday.
Yeah.
So we might not get formal approval until Friday afternoon or Monday, depending on the bank.
Gotcha.
So that's...
Yeah, so that delay can be frustrating for some people, but if you have a cooling off period, at that stage your solicitor can ask for it to be extended, or if you haven't signed a contract and that kind of thing, your agent should notify the vendor that this is just normal procedure. Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify with the evaluation process that not every property necessarily needs a full-blown report on it.